and welcome to the F1 Esports Pro Championship 2021 presented by Aramco. You join us live from the Gfinity Arena here in London. And you have made the right choice to come and join us tonight, because last time out I told you that everything was on the line. Well, this time out, everything really is on the line. Welcome to the grand final.
It is time for a new season for F1 Esports. On the last lap, Lucas Blakely takes the opening win of the year. What a way to take your first victory in this championship. Can he take the lead? Jarno Opmeer's going for it. One of the great drives of F1 Esports completed. For the second race in a row, Jarno Opmeer wins in Austria.
Here comes Freddie Rasmussen to the outside and wins the British Grand Prix and will take his first victory of the season.
Rasmussen, the only guy in the top 10 on Inters.
What a race from Freddie Rasmussen. He took the gamble and it worked for him.
Game on. Lucas Blakely, what a dominant drive to beat home Rasmussen. He is in the championship lead. But Opmeer's in the position to go for it. Opmeer crosses the line to win with a superb performance. Back on top, back into the lead of the championship. This is so tight.
Such a long time since we've had a live audience. It is beautiful. All socially distanced over there. Listen, Nick Hamilton joins me on the desk. Nick, it's great. Yeah! Start an applause for Nick Hamilton. Thank you. That wasn't actually in the script, so don't do that again. No, I'm kidding. Nick, great to have you on the desk with me. We've talked about it. It's on the line tonight. That sort of video we just watched, it just puts us right into the scene for tonight. It's brilliant to see it get to this stage, but still anyone's win, couldn't it?
Yeah, what a season we've had, Tom. It's been incredible. We've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of frustration from drivers, a lot of happy drivers as well. But yeah, we got three pretty much in for an amazing finale. You know, Rasmussen, Opmeer, and Blakely as well. But there is six, I think, that could take the title mathematically. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Six mathematically, as you say, could potentially win us. Let's look at the driver standings then, and what we've got here. 140 points for Jarno Opmeer. You just see it in the bottom of the screen right now. Lucas Blakely, mere 5 points behind him. And then Rasmussen, 132 points. This is neck and neck stuff. And that's not to say Barry Brumman could have 3 races of his life and potentially win. But with the talent up there, we could have a back-to-back champion, or we could have a brand new champion. That's very exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is indeed. Jarno Opmeer, obviously the man to beat, always is. He's super, super consistent, especially in the races. But Lucas Blakely, you can't count him out. After the year he's had as well, after the progression he's had from last year to this year, it'd be really interesting to see if he can take it. Yeah,
Freddie Rasmussen, Mr. Consistent when it comes to the team championship, gets Red Bull across the line. However, I mean, this could be his season, and he's had some amazing overtakes. Going back to Silverstone, we're watching it now.
Yeah, Freddie, he's really quiet. You don't really see or hear much from him, talking generally, but he does all of his talking on the track. He gets very, very frustrated when he doesn't do well, and he doesn't even look happy when he does do well.
Yeah, finished P2. Many of our F1 Esports drivers will be so happy with that. Freddie Rasmussen, their webcams knocked off its place. And yet, tyre strategies come into it as well. A lot for him.
Yeah, and he's done really well. I think back in, was it Spa? He was really, really playing the strategy to a T. Came out with the win from there, and he's, as I said, he's been quiet, but he's like in the background, but he's only a couple of points from the leaders. Yeah,
okay, so Lucas Blakely, surprise package this year. We know he's a talented driver. To be here, you're talented, but to get that next level, which he's just been incredible. There was an overtake against Nicolas Longuet, who hasn't had the season he would have expected, but it's still, when it matters, Lucas is getting it done.
Yeah, this is his first win in the F1 Esports Pro Championship, and you could see how much it meant to him at the end of this race. But he's just a new driver completely. From your interview, he said he hasn't even changed anything, which he's not necessarily surprised about. But yeah, it seems like he's really dealing with the pressure of being a front runner. And this race here at Portimao was incredible. He pretty much drove away from a field that is impossible to drive away from. But what a great job he's done. and what a great year he's having.
Pole to flag, epic stuff from him. So there's only one person left to talk about, the reigning champ, Jarno Opmeer, and his tyre strategy. It's not just about how fast you are, you've got to be thinking the whole picture, every part, every little bit of detail, and his tyre strategy seems to has got him the wins when it seemed impossible for other drivers.
Yeah, we've seen him take the alternate strategy many a time through his career in F1 Esports, and he's always made it work. Sometimes he makes things a little bit difficult for himself in qualifying, but then he comes through in the race and makes some fantastic moves. You can see here when he took the win at Kota, what a crazy last lap that was. But Jarno Opmeer is going to be super difficult to beat.
Yeah, Fab Donoso finishing second in that. And then Marcel Kiefer, however, it sort of came down to Nicolas Longuet making a mistake. But there he is, Jarno Opmeer. Could he be a champion for the second time in a row? I don't even want to discuss that anymore with Nicolas Longuet. His feelings are on the line. It's not just the drivers who could be kind of crowned tonight or tomorrow, because there's also the team championship, Nick. That's where the $750,000 prize pool is on the line. Two teams, neck and neck. Who's going to take it? You look at that, Mercedes or Red Bull?
Yeah, I think I always see Red Bull as a proper team players, let's say. They really work together. But Danny Moreno's really coming to the fore as well to help Jarno Opmeer. So literally it could be anyone's title. But what an incredible year we've had so far. A lot of teamwork going on, a lot of team tactics as well. And you know, it's just a game really, but look how professional it is. It's incredible to see.
Yeah, I tell you what, I love having you on the desk. Unfortunately, Natalie Pinkham isn't here, but I will explain everything because we are certainly getting excited in the studio. But it seems, despite all the action going on in Abu Dhabi, the battle for supremacy in the F1 Pro Championship has caught the imaginations of plenty of people. But of course, Natalie Pinkham was there and has been finding out what's been going on.
Well, something that's really struck me is just how close esports has been to the real world in terms of the tightness of the competition and just the standards that have been shown by all involved, certainly Red Bull and Mercedes. And we've really seen the ebbing and flowing, much like the real world in F1 throughout the whole season. So here we are coming into the final event with Red Bull on 199 points and Mercedes on 222. We've got Blakely, Opmeer and Rasmussen all going for the title. I wish them all the very best. And really talking to people up and down the paddock about the esports series, and it's got everyone hooked. We're all watching from over here in Abu Dhabi and going into the test next week. So we wish you all the very best, and sorry that we can't be there, but it's just an epic conclusion to a brilliant season.
She'll be missed tonight and tomorrow, but it's a hard life for Natalie Pinkham, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get to travel the world.
She must be struggling.
Yeah, well, listen, now we know what's at stake. Time to take a look at the first circuit the drivers will be racing on this evening. And it's the debut for the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, better known as Imola. Let's go across to Matt Gallagher and see what to expect from this famous track.
Welcome to the F1 Esports Command Centre. Yes, we are pulling out all of the stops for the final. First up, we need to speak about Imola. It's never been on the F1 Esports calendar, so we don't know the form book. So let's talk about some action zones of this 19-turn, 4.9-kilometre circuit. First up, we have turn number 2. Not one, that's basically a kink that doesn't exist. Turn 2, hard braking zone, left-hander. Great overtaking opportunity, and also with how narrow it is, it shows how difficult overtaking is going to be and how important qualifying is. Next up, we have turn number 12, Acqua Minerale. Easily my favourite corner name on the calendar. However, the corner itself is very difficult. The drivers will need to push it quite hard, get the momentum through there, because if they don't, they could lose half a tenth. Finally, we have turns 14 and 15, Variante Alta, which is straight after Acqua Minerale. Again, the drivers are going to have to push into this chicane because so much time can be gained. But push a little bit too hard on the exit, you'll run wide, you'll lose your time, and if you're Yuki Tsunoda in real life, you could easily bin it in the wall.
Oh, he's good, isn't he? Matt Gallagher, he's good. That whole track guide there, beautifully done. And it's a debut. This is an exciting track. What do you love about Imola?
It's got so much history. Absolutely incredible amount of history gone through the circuit. Incredible names that have gone into the barriers. Incredible names that have triumphed there. You know, so I love Imola, and Italy is full of passion.
OK, well, listen, let's get to qualifying then. Of course, we had the qualifying show, but the shock of all shocks, Freddie Rasmussen out in Q2, Nick. There's a Drivers' Championship on the line, and that is not going to plan, is it?
Yeah, no, not at all. You can see Freddie Rasmussen doing what he does best. Yeah, really struggling from him in terms of qualifying, getting the job done. Lucas Blakely going up into P3 for Q3, which is good, and Jarno Opmeer doing a great job. Only P4 for him, but the biggest surprise was Josh Adowu. Absolutely incredible from him, taking his first pole position in the F1 Esports Pro Championship, and look what it means to him.
Oh, he was over the moon, and it's been a tough week for him. Lots of uni assessments coming up. You've got to learn these tracks. You need to be, you need to be perfect. You need to be literally an alien on these tracks, and he's got assessments going on as well. So to be able to do something like that takes incredible aptitude, and be able to apply himself like that.
Yeah, I mean, these drivers, they're putting 7 to 10 hours a day on this game, and for him to be able to focus on his studies as well. Obviously, studies are more important, I would say, for anybody that wants to learn about life generally. But to have the balance is a great job from him. And yeah, I'm really proud of him to get that pole position.
OK, well done, McLaren Shadow. Let's have a confirmation of the grid lineup then as we head into our first race of the night, Imola. So the front row, Josh Adowu, and then David Tunitsa. Maybe a return to form. Leaving it a little bit late this season, but great to see. Danny Moreno doing his bit for Mercedes in third, and then Lucas Blakely in fourth. Jarno Opmeer in fifth. All to do, is it still opportunities in this track for a few overtakes, Nick?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Jarno is definitely going to be happy to be, in the mix there. Patrick Sipos doing a great job for Alpine up in P10. And Rasmussen down in 15th. It's going to be really interesting to see what he can do from there. Joni Tormela not really having the best of days in 17, as well as Donoso. And, yeah, with Tomei, rounding out the back of the grid. It's going to be a real feisty race, I'm sure. OK, well, you've heard it from Nick himself. It's going to be a feisty race. We need to take a little breather now. When we come back after the break, we'll have all the action for you.
Hello, we are Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 Esports team, and we're going to be doing the teammate challenge to see how well we know each other. I think tomato sauce?
Can you read it properly? It was an easy one. Probably going to the gym.
Yep.
Yep.
I am going with a dog.
It's actually, can you see it?
A lion.
Lion.
Yeah, I was thinking about pets.
Favorite film? Wow. The Wolf of Wall Street.
I like that one as well, to be fair, but I went with Lone Survivor.
That was a really hard one.
This is probably some Spanish show.
Wait, let me think about it first. I need to think about it too.
I'm going with Despacito.
Oh. Can you see it?
Just me right.
I think I have a couple options, but I don't know, I'm gonna say pizza.
I went for sushi.
Sushi? Ooh, okay.
Before the third event, I would probably say Silverstone 2020, but now I'm gonna go with Zandvoort 2021.
The sample win.
Exactly.
I don't know, I'm gonna say Monza.
That's a good one as well, but I went for Mexico now. It's very tough, like I was
between both. I was between Mexico and Monza. Ooh. Amazing.
No.
Hey guys, hey Freddie, hey Marcel. This is ours to take home. We're close in the championship. Constructors, it looks like it's possible. And obviously for you, Freddie, it looks pretty tight out there. So give it your all, beat the Merc, and good luck.
With the sun now having set on the F1 Championship after an epic season, the baton passes to all of you and to Jarno and Danny to get the job done for us. It's been brilliant watching you this year, seeing the race-winning performances from both of you. We really do wish you all the best in this last week to bring the results home for the Mercedes team. The very best of luck to you both.
How cool was that to hear from Alex Albon and James Allison there, wishing the drivers a bit of luck. That's what's on the line, and I'm very excited about this. A debut track in the F1 Esports Pro Championship. I am now going to throw it up to our commentators. At the beginning of the show, they did a lot of this. Alex Jakes and Matt Gallagher, take it away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tom Deacon. My word, every moment matters from here, and there are few places on earth better to go racing than Imola. Matt, it's all on the line.
It is. You know, you've got 3 drivers fighting for the Drivers' Championship. You've got 2 teams up against themselves for the Teams' Championship. $750,000 on the line. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Let's get this grand final underway.
What's amazing is that we've got all these incredible drivers, fantastic competitors, and then in comes Josh. He's doing exams, he's doing courseworks, he's taking pole, he's got nothing to lose. Others around him definitely do. And look at Blakely and Opmeer, 4th and 5th, with Freddie Rasmussen with so much work to do to get himself out of the hole that is P15. Here we go then, 3 to go in the championship. We are about to go racing at Imola. 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we're underway for a vital race in the championship with a good getaway for the McLaren man, who will head off the Ferrari into turn 1. It's as you were, no big movers for the moment. Josh Ado leads into turn number 1. Are they going to be close in the background? They are, with Lucas Blakely still ahead of Jarno Opmeer, as you were at the start. Now, as we move out of the rhythm of the opening lap, can anyone shape for a move? Got to be brave at this part of the circuit. Will we see any late dives into Tosa? Not at the moment. It's as you were off the line. It's circumspect, it's cautious, it's playing the long game.
It's very calm at the moment at the start of this grand final week that we've got going on. We're riding on board with Jarno Opmeer on the medium tyres. So, most notably, Idowu and Tanitsa on the soft tyre. Expect them to drive away from the rest of the field. Danny Moreno's job, try and stick with Tanitsa and get that DRS on lap number 3. But right now, yeah, calm, cautious. I don't think anyone, especially the likes of Opmeer and Blakely, wants to stick a nose in at the moment.
No, and nowhere really obvious. You've got to make slam dunk overtaking moves. Maybe they're waiting for the introduction of the DRS, which totally changes things. But if you're Josh Ado, it's going perfectly to plan. If you are Lucas Blakely, you're taking key points out of Jarno Opmeer, and the one thing Blakely would have been desperate to do as they go across the line and start lap 2 is maintain track position. He's done so at the moment. It feels like a race that might be changed by DRS for the moment. Ado, then Tanitsa, then Moreno, then Blakely, then the driver we ride on board with, the championship leader, trying to retain his crown. And he's had to come under enormous pressure. Qualifying has not always gone his way. He's gone out in Q2 on a number of occasions. His rivals haven't been able to punish him. He took advantage of a mistake last time out when we raced in Austin. He is currently the P5 man. Brendan Lee has a time penalty this early. And time penalty, you can see the black and white flag next to his name down in P8. That's early on to get that from race control.
We know what time penalties means. It means you're not finishing in the points with how close this F1 Esports grid is. And crucially, I said about sticking with DRS, no chance for Danny Moreno there. He's already 1.4 seconds back on Tanitsa. Those two driving away. Lucas Blakely looking quite racy behind Danny Moreno, but there's no need to really risk anything at the moment. Of course, they will be keeping an eye on Josh and David out in front. They don't want to fight too much, Moreno, Blakely and Opmeer. And crucially as well, Teams Championship, Marcel Kiefer and Freddie Rasmussen, both of them still not in the top 10, despite lap 1 being the best overtaking opportunity for them. They are still scoring, at the moment, 0 points for Red Bull.
And that is about as far away from normality as you can get in F1 Esports. The team champions, those who have been there and done it, drivers that have worked together for 1-2s in the past, so unusually finding themselves out of the points for the time being. So Ado, then Tanitsa, then Moreno, then Blakely, then Opmeer. As we begin to fall into a rhythm, we look at this fantastic facility down there as they move to Tosa. This hairpin, which is quicker and quicker and quicker with modern Formula One machinery. And we're climbing the hill now on lap 3 of 22.
We are indeed. This is a long old race, this one. 22 laps around this brilliant circuit added to the F1 game. It's great to see it on there, and these drivers showing us how to do it, basically. Patrick Sipos has had a good start, P7 after starting 10th. And I'm assuming with that great start, he'll be on the soft tyres. We'll probably get clarification of that when we see him. But yeah, these medium compound runners just working together, as we've seen so many times this season. They don't Doesn't want to be fighting too hard because it'll just lose time to Edowu and Tanitsa, who are driving away at the moment, but imagine that will come back towards the medium tyre runners once the softs start to fall away.
Lucas Blakely has gone to work. He can crucially see that Danny Moreno has fallen away from the DRS protection of the Ferrari in front of him. He's got it now. He's in the wheel tracks. He's alongside. He's ahead. Look how powerful DRS is. When you've got Lucas Blakely using it to perfection to move up to P3, and he is edging closer to the points lead.
He knows not to mess around. He's got 2 Mercedes now behind him. He can't just sit behind Danny Moreno and expect the driver behind him to not try and move, because it's Jarno Opmeer, the reigning champion. So Lucas wants to take it into his own hands and try and drive away from this very long train, as you can see. But he's going to have a big old job to do that. Lucas just deciding right now, P3, I'll stay there. And I guess that's the only way to keep Jarno Opmeer behind, is to stay ahead of his teammate Danny Moreno.
Well, that's a key move for Lucas Blakely, who is in uncharted territory. If your name is Freddie Rasmussen, you've been in important races at the end of the year, time and time again. If you're Jarno Opmeer, you're the reigning champion, and you took it at the first opportunity, this time last year by winning the title at Interlagos. Here now at Imola, he is finding himself on the back foot. He's got to clear his teammate, just got to stay with Lucas Blakely and give himself an opportunity. At the moment, the resurgent Aston Martin man, who was a winner in the Pro Exhibition that we saw at the last year, but never really featured in F1 Esports Pro Series until this year, finds himself punching a hole in the air. Is it pass and be repassed now? Danny Moreno getting closer as we get into the Russell and Bottas part of the racetrack, and he's close, but he's not close enough.
Well, you want to see how hard Jarno Opmeer is pushing, just take a look at his steering wheel. He's pretty got an entire battery's worth of charge just stored up. He is biding his time, as Jarno Opmeer. He knows these laps aren't the crucial ones, and I imagine he will start to push around the pit stops. Let's hear from Jarno Opmeer.
I reckon we can get Blakely both on one straight if we plan it right.
Copy, we'll talk about it.
Well, that's the conversation at the moment. The one thing about having your teammate in close proximity is you can use your teammate up against Blakely, who does not have the similar sort of help from Shanaka Clay, who is in the second Aston Martin. You're looking at the battle for the lead. You're looking at Josh Edowu, who isn't in that car week in, week out. He's been swapping around with Danny Beresne, a race winner in the past who's not having the season that he would want. Barry Burramund has been outstanding as well. Such a good qualifier this year, but it was his teammate who started on pole. It's his teammate who holds the lead for the time being, but will he? By the time that he gets the end of the straight, because the Ferrari is coming at Imola, he's pulling alongside, he's pulling ahead. David Tanitsa takes the lead.
Yeah, the Ferrari Driver Academy leads at Imola. That's a pretty nice sight for David Tanitsa, showing some form. But remember, the soft tyres, although they look so great at the start of a race, is usually the strategy that not a lot of the drivers go on, and you can see a lot of the medium tyre runners in this pack right now. We saw Barry Burramund at Monza, I believe it was, where he looked so great, pulled away from the field, but didn't even end up on the podium due to that strategy just not being the faster one. We will see as Edowu 3 seconds clear of Lucas Blakely. That's a nice buffer, but imagine those drivers, Blakely, Moreno, Opmeer, Burramund, they are all going to come for them towards the end of the race.
As it stands, we are level on points in F1 Esports with Lucas Blakely and Jarno Opmeer level with 2 to go.
Ah, who's writing this script, huh?
I know. Where have you heard that one before? Tanitsa, Edowu, then Blakely. Now, can Blakely do anything about stretching clear of the 2 Mercedes, who do have that ability to work together? It's a lot to take out of your tyres to make up a gap of 2.9 seconds. Josh Edowu looking for a remarkable result when you consider that he has been part-time in this championship, not through any fault of his own. That's just the way the McLaren have chosen to go with it now. Danny Moreno looks like he's got a good run this time as we build up the speed. Look at how quick this is. And once again, Lucas Blakely just doing enough to stay ahead, but he was deep into the first chicane.
He was indeed. He's maybe feeling the pressure a little bit. I mean, having the 2 Mercedes behind you must be an ultimate amount of pressure for Lucas Blakely, but I think Danny Moreno was obviously too close to Lucas, didn't want to do the move, but Jarno, you know, we've already heard from his team radio, he wants to try this double overtake, wasn't close enough. So Danny just deciding against it for now, because if Danny passes, then Lucas will get the benefit of DRS, and then Jarno will probably not have any kind of opportunity. It's going to come down to the pit stops, and will we see an aggressive soft tyre strategy from one of these drivers to try and get that advantage in the middle of this race, and then be on the defence towards the end? It's set up so nicely.
It really is. The driver in second place, Josh Adowo, he's only half a second off the lead. He's lost the lead, but he's staying there. He's within DRS. He's taken his first ever pole in the championship earlier on today, and now he's looking at his first ever podium. The tantalizing thing for him at the moment is he's half a second away from the race win. All of the drivers in championship contention fancied the medium tyre at the start of the race. Those of the drivers that occupied the front row, they were all looking about the launch off the line, and it's tight once again between McLaren and Ferrari. Is there an opportunity for Adowo? Not this time, and there's still no opportunity. Forget both Mercedes lining up an opportunity, or Jarno lining up an opportunity. Danny Moreno can't get past at the moment.
And he doesn't want to. Look at his steering wheel. He has almost 100% of his ERS. He's not using anything at the moment. He is merely using Lucas to just drag him along. I wonder if we do see on onboard of Lucas in a while whether he's using any energy as well. You can see a small amount used by Danny Moreno there. When it comes up as green overtake, like there it says disable now, that's where he's using just a tiny bit of energy to stay with the Aston Martin in front. But it's all this is the crucial thing. Let's hear some team radio.
He lifted Lucas.
I reckon we should do it now already. Okay, we think do it.
Yeah, copy. End of this lap, Jarno. End of this lap.
All right, stand by. Let's see if the synchronized swimming works. Here we go. Can the slingshot work for Mercedes? Jarno Opmeer in position to make way. And Danny Moreno trying to go for it. Josh Adowo is settling for absolutely nothing. He's retaken the lead. He's retaken first, but this is the championship in the background. They're looking to swap them round, and if the instruction was that lap, it did not work. We've got a new race leader. Josh Adowo has taken it back.
Weren't close enough. So the Mercedes have to be right on the back of Lucas out of the final corner. I think it was around 4/10 was Moreno behind Lucas, which just isn't close enough. And maybe, just maybe, Lucas Blakely saw it coming. Well, he's done so well this season, has Lucas. He has withstood so much pressure over the course of these, what will be 9 races now, or 10, this is the 10th race. And, well, he's holding on for now, 2.8 seconds back from Tanitsa, so he's just clawing back that advantage that was just over 3. So the soft tyre runners may be starting to struggle a little bit, but Adowo and Tanitsa need to work together. They need to constantly just swap on the DRS straight, get that little bit of advantage, save energy where they can, because that is crucial for their race.
You can see that Adowo and Tanitsa have a healthy buffer, but that buffer is slightly coming down. Blakely can't afford to breathe at any point. This is the crucial final proper corner, and Opmeer comes in. So Opmeer along, well, it looked like he was coming in. Yes, he is. So this is fascinating stuff, and we've got some big decisions being made here. Tanitsa, Moreno, Kiefer and Rasmussen are the top 4 on the racetrack, but coming in, our former race leader, Josh Adowo, he's come in with Lucas Blakely, who, when he pitted, was level on points with the man who's also covered him off. And fascinating that they've decided to go this early to the soft.
Yeah, because I mean, Adowu's come in from the lead and he's gone onto the mediums, Blakely onto the softs. So the exact same amount of time, it seems almost split 50-50 in terms of the tyre wear. And well, can Adowo hold back? Brendan Lee has in fact jumped the lot of them and is now ahead of Blakely.
Oh, this is the top 2 in the championship, wheel to wheel. Here we go then. And Jarno Opmeer, no, it's up against the other Aston Martin, so a bit of team games going on here for the time being. And just about staying ahead, that's vital, that's so important from Aston Martin. And so Jarno Opmeer, who was right underneath, has fed back out into traffic, and there's a huge opportunity for Lucas Blakely now. Blakely in P12, Opmeer stuck behind Janaka Clay, who's in the Aston Martin today, and it's vital laps for Opmeer now to clear the traffic he's come out in.
Oh, it's massively vital, but also Brendan Lee, I know he's got the penalty, but if that penalty isn't, is invalidated or he's got it for a wrong reason, he's sat in a current P2, but with Tanitsa coming in, it's going to be very close. It's also very close with Jarno Opmeer up the inside. Oh, it's going to be a little bit of wheel banging into the final corner, but he's through.
There are no easy passes around this racetrack, so every moment is heart in mouth. Danny Moreno, Freddie Rasmussen, Joni Tormala staying out, extending the stints. David Tanitsa has come into the pits. David Tanitsa is side by side with Josh Adowo as they battle for the race lead. And meanwhile, it's advantage Lucas Blakely because he's got cars in between him and his rival in the championship, Jarno Opmeer. Shinaki Clay might only have delayed him for a few corners, but they're a very useful bunch of corners.
And Barry Burman's got into the mix as well. He's pit one lap earlier. The soft tyre with the undercut is so strong around here. And the McLaren, both McLarens, looking very good indeed. You've got Adowo and Tanitsa separated by 3/10. Brendan Lee's now joined the fight in that DRS train. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is something completely different to what we've seen all esports season long. Let's hear Burmand on the radio.
Okay, so please, Barry, just try to defend Jarno and Mercedes as long as possible. Don't even care if you waste energy, waste time, because we are most likely won't score points, but Josh, it's really important for him to be a couple of positions ahead, so don't even bother.
Defend for your life is what I heard there. So Barry, of course, with that penalty, knows that he's not going to probably score many points.
Yeah.
But it's the team game.
All right, this is really, really intense ahead. Look at this, Brendan Lee, David Tanitsa, and a pass there into the first chicane, the Tamburello chicane. All the while, we're on board with Lucas Blakely, who's got to be careful here, got to think about the championship, and tucked back in. And after a well-behaved first lap of the race, it's suddenly getting very, very punchy, it's getting fighty. It's important at this stage of the championship. And you've got Josh Adowo fighting for everything out there. The two drivers ahead still have to make their stop, and it's a brawl to win this race.
It is. Imola, difficult to overtake, narrow. What is this? No, apparently not for F1 Esports drivers. This is so finely poised. Drivers on different strategies. You've got aggressive undercuts. You've got drivers going a bit longer. Danny Moreno's still out there on the mediums.
Incredible stuff in a season of F1 Esports that has shown us so many different facets from the drivers. Today, it's about punching your opportunity at exactly the right moment. Is this the moment for Jarno Opmeer? How brave is he feeling? Not brave enough. He can see his championship rival over the top of that papaya McLaren. But Barry Burman is playing the team game for Josh Adowo. And contrast that, Barry Burman, a brilliant qualifier this year, trying to play the team game for his teammate to help him win his first race. Left or right if you're Jarno Opmeer? Which way do you go? He's got past the McLaren. If he can pick his braking point, he's through the next car ahead, his championship rival.
You can see the rear light of Barry Burman's car blinking, so he's used a lot of energy and just could not hold off Jarno Opmeer down the straight. Jarno, crucially, up to 7th. Next stop for him is Lucas Blakely.
This is now what we want to see, the top two, wheel to wheel, in the wheel tracks. You heard the confidence earlier on from Opmeer. They were like, right, now we'll try it, now we'll try it again. Couldn't happen. This time, there's no Danny Moreno in the way. Danny Moreno's going long. Danny Moreno's trying something different. Lucas Blakely is in a train of cars. And out front, Brendan Lee has managed to force his way through. And he will be so frustrated with that early penalty that he got in the opening 2 laps of the race, because without it, he'd have the net race lead.
He would indeed. So Brendan Lee, with that aggressive undercut, has put him into what is a net race lead. Of course, he is carrying that penalty. Will his soft tyres last till lap 22? That's something we're going to have to wait and see. And of course, look at the train of cars behind, all of them wanting to get on the podium at the very least. And Brendan Lee leads this train.
Okay, Danny Moreno has come into the pits. Brendan Lee is the leader. He's gone early, he's got the penalty, but he's the on-track leader, and he's having to defend. He can't defend, and Josh Adowo goes through of what is shaping up to be an absolute classic of a race here at Imola. Now, David Tanitsa tries to fight back, can't fight back. Is there a move into the Villeneuve chicane? You've got to be brave to pull this off, and every single time you have a half look like that, you invite the driver behind to send one to the inside. Lucas Blakely really stuck at the moment because he can't get a clean move, but he knows one wrong move and he opens the door for his championship rival.
Oh, Lucas has got to be so careful. Remember, we do run simulation settings for damage, so just a small touch to David Tanitsa's rear diffuser and that could lose an end plate, and then you just lose so much downforce, so much lap time. But Lucas looks like he knows he needs to get through. You can see by the energy deployment, he's only got about 20%, so he is trying ever so desperately to get past these Ferraris, especially David Tanitsa on the medium tyres. So you'd imagine right now, Lucas has a bit more pace in hand than David, but he's using that DRS wisely, is the previous champion. And look at that, FDA, Ferrari Driver Academy, P2 and P3. That's something we haven't seen this season.
No, not for a very long time. And 15 to 22, an absolute scrap to win this one. Look at them. Basically in one long line. Brendan Lee's done it again. We don't know where to look. Understandably so, if you're trying to direct this one, because everyone is passing, repassing, having that opportunity. Now it's Brendan Lee who takes the lead, and it might not look like an oval, but they're racing like it is one.
They're just stuck together, aren't they? Look at Jarno Otmir round the outside of Lucas Blakely. Is he going to put it off?
This is so important for the championship. As they come out, he's got the traction, he's got the position, and the points lead swings back again. Jarno Otmir now extending things in
Lucas
the championship
now under pressure again. Barry Burraman now right behind him. Lucas is struggling on these soft tyres at the moment.
Tough couple of corners for Lucas Blakely, who mirrored what his rival was doing. Was there a car off into the wall there? I think there was.
Marcel Kiefer, I think it is. He's dropping down the field in the Red Bull. Marcel Kiefer.
And you saw the flash of blue. Marcel Kiefer. They are scrapping all the while here, and as they do so, it's meaning that they're high speed, side by side. And at this stage of proceedings, Lucas Blakely does not have an answer to his championship rival. Not only that, it's Barry Burraman as well, who's lining him up. We're on board with the championship leader extending his advantage in the points, looking at two Ferraris fighting one McLaren, and there's another change. This time it's Joshua Duo back into the lead. David Tanitza up against Brendan Lee. Brendan Lee's got that penalty. They're not exactly working together, considering that David Tanitza is the one without the penalty as things stand. McLaren in the lead at the moment. Then Ferrari, then Mercedes, championship leader, man trying to retain the crown. And further back, bad to worse. For Barry Burraman, Shanaka Clay is ahead of Lucas Blakely, who can't keep them behind.
No, he's just lost. I think he's just sent the tyres over the cliff with the tyre temperatures, and he's just falling like a stone at the moment. Let's see a replay of Lucas Blakely. We can see now on board. Oh, he's lost a bit of front wing, I think. I think he's gone into the back of David Tanitza, and all of a sudden his pace has just gone. But just as I was mentioning.
We were talking about that, Matt. We were discussing, there you go, applying the power as we go on board with Jarno Otmir, but we were talking about it. You can't afford to lose any damage at all, and that one moment, that one moment of indecision with the car placement has cost him. Side by side we go.
There's been brake checks, I've got damage. I just get brake checks, man.
And so that's Lucas Blakely saying he's got damage. That's why he's falling through the field. And the man who a few laps ago, when he was racing the Ferraris, was believing that he was going to go level on points in the championship standings, is now fading, and fading fast.
He is. That's anguish in his voice, as you can imagine, for Lucas, who just cannot defend. As I was literally mentioning just before it happened, he's lost a bit of his front wing, and his lap times have just fallen off a cliff. May I also add that both Ferraris now have a penalty.
Yeah, Tanitza has got one. Marcel Kiefer has got.
They're all picking up penalties.
Oh, there's another position lost. Lucas Blakely is looking at a rough day here in the championship. He really is. Freddie Rasmussen, who started way down the order ahead of him now. So is Joni Tormela. Blakely with nothing that he can do. The driver who was pushing for the race win suddenly finds himself with his championship challenge fading, and the likeable Scotsman is out of the points. That is absolutely brutal. As we go on board with Jarno Otmir, trying to make him pay, trying to make things even worse for the Aston Martin driver, trying to claim more points in the championship and upgrade from 12 to 15. At the moment he's staying in the wheel tracks. No need to take a risk from here. This is a big day in the championship. Your name is Jarno Otmir.
Now, crucially, the battle for the lead rages on, and David Tanitza, as I've just heard in my ear, race control say that his penalty is an in-game error. So David Tanitza's penalty does not stand. He's still in the fight with Lee, well, his teammate, but more crucially, Josh Adowu out in front in that McLaren, looking very strong with 4 laps to go. Jarno Otmir right behind all the 3 of them as well. This race has been absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, this is so far away from what we expected, because they all dared themselves into the pits earlier on, didn't they? and it was all about the early advantage, but they've been able to attack on these tyres for a while now. Josh Adowo is getting closer and closer to something absolutely extraordinary, because this is a guy who, in all honesty, if you're having to put the hours in, well, he's focusing on his studies, he's turned up, he's been given the chance, he's got the beating of all of them at the moment.
Barry's off. Look at the timing sheets. Barry and Shanaka Clay have had an incident. They're both tumbling down the field.
And Jarno Opmeer, Danny Moreno 4th and 5th, then Rasmussen up to 6th. Good news for him. Now David Tanitsa's got a run. He's got the inside. DRS turned into 2nd position for David Tanitsa. A reminder that that graphic on your screen is not correct. Brendan Lee coming across up there. Jarno Opmeer very nearly spinning it all away when he's got such a points advantage, and that's the difference. That's how close it can be between getting damage like Lucas Blakely had and not finishing.
That was late, Brendan Lee. That was a little bit late for my liking. Jarno pushed off the track, and I'm sure we'll maybe hear some of Jarno's thoughts, but yeah, it was a little bit tiny bit late from Brendan Lee there. Clearly saw that Jarno up the inside would have got the move done, and interesting. So Brendan Lee trying to hold off Jarno Opmeer as much as he possibly can, because he knows how crucial it is for his teammate. Let's hear from Danny Moreno, who also has picked up a penalty.
Okay, we are defending Jarno from Freddie.
Freddie didn't have the DRS. I have a lot more pace, I can pull it away.
I love this. I absolutely love it. Doesn't matter if it's esports, doesn't matter if it's the real thing. You tell someone to defend, they want to get involved. Jarno Opmeer's best bet here up against Freddie Rasmussen, who's a few cars back, is to do what he is doing and take 3rd position on the way down to the Tamburello chicane. And what was turning into a good day for Jarno Opmeer is turning into a great day for Jarno Opmeer, P3.
Oh, Danny Moreno trying to get through on Brendan Lee as well. I think he may well have the inside line here. Does Danny? Yes, he does, up to P4.
So one Ferrari fading. Brendan Lee went early with those tyres, and you can see the difference that is making. One Ferrari still in the wheel tracks. Josh Adowo has done so much right today, but can he shake off our former champion? Our man who knows what it's like to go all the way through the season and deliver at the end. He's not involved in the championship battle this year, but he will desperately want to take that Ferrari to the top at Imola, of all places. The circuit that bears Ferrari's name, and it's Opmeer, then Moreno, then Lee, Rasmussen. It's a great drive through the field for Freddie Rasmussen. Do we really expect anything else today?
No, we didn't, Freddie. You know, damage limitation after a really difficult qualifying. 15th on the grid, and he's now got past Brendan Lee as well, has Freddie, and he's up to P5. That's a great result from Freddie.
It's been a dramatic one. We saw Kiefer spinning in the background. We've had penalties across the board. We've had contact in the background for Shanaka Clay. We've had contact with our championship pair. He's getting feisty across the line there. On to the penultimate lap of the race. McLaren versus Ferrari at Imola for victory, with 2 stalking Mercedes in the background trying to get involved as well.
Johnny Tormler up to P6 ahead of Brendan Lee as well. Those soft tyres have faded, but Danny Moreno doesn't look like he was lying at all. Of course, he went so much longer on his medium strategy. Without that penalty, Danny Moreno would have probably passed Jarno Opmeer and be challenging for the lead.
Just to remind you, David Tanitsa's penalty, we believe, does not count. Moreno, Brendan Lee, Philip Prushneder, Marcel Kiefer, those penalties are accurate according to our information from race control. So everyone looking on at the moment, 0.3 of a second. Has David Tanitsa judged this one perfectly, or will Josh Adowo do what he's threatened to do all day and convert that pole position into a maiden F1 esports victory? Meanwhile, Danny Moreno is remembering who employs him for the time being, because he's weaving all over the back, but he knows the championship points are so important for Jarno Opmeer here.
I'm surprised they haven't let Danny go so that he could extend his gap and score some more points.
And that's what he was asking for. That's what he was asking for. Over the line, guess what? Battle for the lead on the last lap.
As always, and it's to the inside, David Tanitsa!
David Tanitsa's got the inside line! David Tanitsa's got it done! And he's off the road! Josh Adowo is off the road! He clipped it into the wall! That's cruel! It's brutal! It's undeserved! And David Tanitsa has the race lead! All of the brilliant work from Josh Adowo undone on the last lap, and it's the Ferrari that leads at Imola, then Opmeer, then Moreno, then Rasmussen. That is controversial. Oh, what do you even say?
Got some team radio from Josh to exactly here.
Are you serious? No. Oh my God. I can't believe it.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
I can't believe that he got that far. Danny Moreno's up to second position. Whilst all of that has gone on, Mercedes driver, number 2 in the standings, is ahead of Mercedes championship leader. And there he is. Is he getting out of the way? Over the line to see the checkered flag. David Tanitsa has dropped down the order, but we believe that David Tanitsa has taken the checkered flag and won. Jarno Opmeer in second place and Freddie Rasmussen in third. Pure drama at Imola, but it's Ferrari and David Tanitsa who take the win in Imola. Remarkable opening race of this grand final.
Absolutely loved it. Loved it. What you were saying there, Alex Jakes. Punchy was that race, Nick. David Tanitsa, just to confirm that, 25 points to him. That penalty was rescinded, so therefore your winner of the race. Great work from FDA. Not been a great season for them, but back to winning ways and winning at home for them. But are you serious? I mean, that caught me by surprise. Josh Adderwood, he must be. What's going through his head right now?
Yeah, I mean, he drove a pretty faultless race, didn't he? And yeah, unfortunate for him, right in the last lap, right at the closing stages, to end up crashing and not actually ended up in the points.
Yeah, DHL fastest lap goes to Marcel Kiefer. Get confirmation on that in a second, that's what I'm being told. However, though, Lucas Blakely brake checked. Unfortunate. What did you make from this?
Yeah, I mean, it was so close. I don't necessarily feel like it was a brake check as such. It looked like Tanitsa was, trying to get a good entry into the left-hander and maybe slowed a little bit too much to what Lucas could thought of. So, yeah, it's an awkward one for him.
Yeah, there was that train. So difficult for Lucas, now really taking him out of that championship challenger position. But tell you what, he's going to have to do something very special in Mexico. Well, that is our first race of the evening completed, but the action comes thick and fast as we travel to Mexico City for the penultimate round of the 2021 season. Nick, I'm going to throw this question right at you. Very little time on a show like tonight in our first round, but Mexico City, what do you love about this track?
I think it's amazing. It's got such a fast pit straight, lots of different corners from high speed to slow speed, medium speed corners as well. Lots of opportunities to overtake. I think DRS is going to be super strong here.
Super strong DRS, we love that. Now Matt Gallagher has put together his guide for what to expect from this circuit. Let's watch it.
Here we are then, track number 2, event 4. It's Mexico City, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Now, F1 Esports has been here before to the 17-turn, 4.3-kilometre track, and we have seen some action into turn number 1. That's the first of our action zones, where it's a massively long straight, DRS wide open, and we have seen in the past Rasmussen, Opmeer, and Tanitsa going 3 wide into there.
Sweeping around the outside is Freddie Rasmussen.
Next on the track that I want to speak about is right down there by my feet, the S's. This is maybe where not so much action is going to happen, but it's very important for the drivers to get it right, especially if they're following cars. They're going to lose a bit of downforce. There's going to be dirty air, so getting that right is going to be important if they want to overtake down into turn number 12. The final part of the track that I want to speak about is the Forest Sol. Now, you've got the S's right. Don't get too excited, though, because you still have a few more corners to go before you can then look towards turn 1. We've seen Verstappen catching Bottas out by surprise up the inside. Lovely move. Maybe not so much in esports because they're so unbelievably close, but get through there unscathed, round the final corner, and you've got DRS and a long old straight to help you.
All right, then, as Matt Gallagher says, get it right. Well, who is right up there for the qualifying? As you can see, Freddie Rasmussen in first spot, then Barry Burman in second. Further down, Marcel Kiefer fifth. Josh Adderwood hoping to get a better race. He starts off in sixth place. Lucas Blakely down in seventh. Danny Moreno in eighth. Don't forget, the Red Bull Mercedes battle is very much still on. Daniele Haddad for Aston Martin hoping to make his team get in the points as well, not just leaving it all to Lucas Blakely. Brendan Lee all the way down in 14th, and how about that? Fab Donoso 17th. and Alvaro Carreton in 18th. And of course, Simon Weigang with the most difficult role to do. Right, okay, here we go. Trophies are over there. I'm here at the table with Nick, but we're going to have a break. When we come back, we'll be heading to Mexico City.
So we are the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Esports team, and we are gonna do the 5-second challenge. Let's see how we do. Vanilla, strawberry, and lemon.
Manchester, London, and Leicester.
Macaroni, spaghetti, and ravioli.
Drive, brake, throttle.
Senegal, Ghana, and South Africa.
Tea, titanium, and...
Oh, never watched it. No idea. No.
A wall, a mountain, and a swimming pool.
A ball, the headsets, and I don't know.
Antarctica, Mount Everest, and... No, I don't know.
Stonehenge, I think one, right?
Ah, yeah.
Coffee, tea, and I don't know the last one.
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate, yeah.
The ocean, Alpine, and...
It was fun.
I prefer the racing one, to be fair. I relate more to that.
All right then, welcome back to the F1 Pro Championship 2021 presented by Aramco. It is all on the line. That is the tagline for tonight's show. We're going to head right now to Mexico City to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And to cast this for you, we have Matt Gallagher and Alex Jakes.
Thank you very much, Tom Deacon. One of the great throws. Enjoyed that. Thank you, sir. OK, now it's getting very, very serious, Matt. This is...
It was serious before.
Oh, it's very serious. Now it's even more serious. Penultimate race of the year. Championship can be won here at this point. Drivers have got to perform. We've got an interesting grid, though.
We have. And Mexico, great opportunity down towards turn 1. I'm ready for it.
Rasmussen versus Boromund at the front. Jarno Opmeer trying to turn third on the grid to the race lead like we saw in the real thing a few weeks ago. Here we go then. This is so important for the championship. It is a race that could decide the title. 5 red lights in Mexico City, and we're underway with Freddie Rasmussen getting a good start, maintaining the lead. That looks a good getaway as well for Barry Boromund in the second phase. He's going to have the inside line, and Jarno Opmeer's got a lot of momentum. Can he dive to the inside? Opmeer thinking about it to the inside immediately. Rasmussen is in trouble here. They're wide. Jarno Opmeer turns third position into the race lead. He's in a brilliant opportunity now to score another victory and edge closer to that title. Once again, third on the grid, turned into the race lead at Mexico City. Then it's Boromund and Rasmussen. Longa in fourth, Kiefer in fifth. They went wide, these top two, into turn 1. It cost them. Opmeer's got the lead.
Oh, that was such a good move. Again, we go 3 wide into turn 1. Thankfully, we didn't have a spinner this time. And Jarno Opmeer, well, I'd say it's a crucial move. It is, but the top 3 are all on soft tyres. So I'd imagine, just like we saw in Imola, oh, that's a little bit squirrely from Lucas Blakely, riding on the curb a little bit too hard. But for Opmeer, Boromund and Rasmussen, you'd imagine they'll work together to pull away from Longa, who I believe is the front of the medium train. We'll take a look and see as we head into the Forest-Sol, and we'll get a good look of the Alpine. There you go, all yellow wall tyres from 4th all the way down to 7th with Lucas Blakely that we're riding on board with now. What a disappointing drive and result for Lucas Blakely. Not necessarily the drive, but just a small error.
Yes.
Such big consequences.
I mean, that was always going to be the case when you had 3 cars ahead battling frenetically at that point. You've only got to get one person slow off the corner, and that is the end of all the hard work, all the hours of preparation as they drift over the line going into that first turn. Once again, we're on to lap 2. Jarno Opmeer has done the hard work. Jarno Opmeer put one hand back on his championship trophy, but you pointed out the difference in tyres. So 2 groups going to work against each other here. We're on board with Marcel Kiefer, who spun out of contention in Imola a few moments ago up against Nicolas Longa, who was so nearly our winner in Austin, and is a race winner before as well with the Alpine entry ahead. Josh Adowo looking to make amends for that heartbreak, that last lap heartbreak in the McLaren at Imola. And then Lucas Blakely in the train, knowing that he needs something to completely switch around here. He's going to need to work with those that he's got as we go in through turn 12. Into the Forest Soul then. Very easy to run wide there and attract the attentions of race control. Very easy to lock up in the baseball stadium as we make our way back out to the original racetrack built here in the middle of Mexico City all these years ago. A couple of years after Mexico City hosted the Olympic Games. Got the old basketball stadium just out of shot in the background of that first home. It is always an atmospheric place to go racing. It's a driver's favourite as well because it's so high speed.
It really is. We can see on screen right now, look at the strategies, the tyre strategies. Only the front three have gone on the soft tyres. So clearly, every single other driver on the grid wanted the mediums to begin with. Gives them a bit more opportunity at the end of the race. It's interesting, the front three did not want to lose track position to the cars behind, so instead are going to have this big old run away from the field at the start. And once again, we will see if the medium tyres can come back towards the soft tyre runners at the end of the race. But right now, look at this long game, already 2.3 seconds back on Freddie Rasmussen. If you're going to have soft tyre runners and you want a group of drivers to work together and pull away from the field, Otmar, Burman and Rasmussen are three that you would choose.
Yeah, that is, for Jarno Otmar and Freddie Rasmussen's championship picture, exactly what they want. For Lucas Blakely, this must be difficult to pick yourself up after such disappointment when for so much of that race he looked like he was going to go level on points in the championship, and given how it later played out, you could argue the win was there if things had worked out, given the contact that we had later on. So Otmar, Burman, you can hear the beep for DRS, unable though, when everyone else has got it, to do anything. One driver who hasn't got it out front is Longuet, and he can't keep Marcel Kiefer behind. We were on board with Blakely, we saw the move for 4th place.
So Kiefer decides he wants to lead this train, but just needs to make sure they don't fight too hard, because that gap is now 3.3 seconds to Freddie Rasmussen. But Kiefer, of course, that other Red Bull, is to lead the pace, lead the charge, so that he can try and stay with those soft tyre runners. But they are driving away from the field at the moment. They're not fighting, as we've seen so many times this season. And that's exactly, it's basically like a time trial at the start. You know, they're just trying to run away and see how much of a gap they can get to the massive 17 other cars behind.
Yeah, and useful for Freddie Rasmussen. The next car on the alternative strategy is his teammate Marcel Kiefer, who he's worked with before to deliver teams championships, but is this the year for Freddie Rasmussen? Not at the moment. As things stand, advantage Otmar sizably going into the final race of the year, but it's not enough to win the title as things stand on lap 5 of 25. If something goes wrong for Rasmussen, that could well change. And Lucas Blakely, just here, the car bottoming out as we've got Barry Burman going to the inside. Barry Burman in the McLaren takes the lead. He has never won an F1 Esports race. He's been mighty on one lap this year, multiple pole positions, but now it's his turn to punch a hole in the air, and Burman leads.
He's been brilliant in qualifying, you know, reaching Q3 every single time, and I'm sure he'll be kicking himself a little bit when he looks back at this season. He doesn't have more points to show for it. We're taking a look at Lucas Blakely trying to get past Barry's teammate there. And Josh a little bit losing the back end, just a tiny bit out of there. The driver's just struggling through there consistently, both in qualifying and the race, it seems. But Lucas maybe getting a little bit itchy, knowing that so many points lost at Imola. He knows he has to do some miraculous drive in order to stay in this title fight and to help Aston Martin secure P3 in the championship.
Well, he's made a huge step forward this year, but patience is the name of the game at the moment, and he will want none of it. He will want none of it. You can see he's so close to the back of that McLaren. A lot of confidence through the baseball stadium. They go through what is officially the Nigel Mansell corner and out onto the main straight once again, with Burman, Otmar and Rasmussen separated by about half a second between the three of them. No DRS for Barry Burman, and no intention of Jarno Otmar going through. Sitting tight, waiting, saving battery. Meanwhile, overtaking behind. Nicholas Longuet has gone through and up to 4th place. Everyone working together to get through this phase of the race.
When do they stop working together, Alex? That's what I want to see. I want to see Freddie Rasmussen start to get his elbows out, start to get under Jarno Opmeer's skin, because that's what he needs to do if he wants to win this driver's title. We can't just sit behind Jarno for the next 19 laps and allow that Mercedes to beat him. Of course, right now is probably not the right time to fight, but look, when we get around the pit stops, he's going to want to try something different to win this race, because P3, you don't have a chance on the last lap to win from P3, really, unless you get an unbelievable run out of there and really close to Jarno and Barry. Freddie's going to have to try something maybe a tiny bit different to get through.
This is very well poised for our championship contenders. Mathematically, there were 6 of them going into the grand final, but you're realistically looking at the last 2. The driver that's already got the crown and the driver who's never won it before. He's always done the job for his team. That's where the prize money lies, but surely he wants his name up in lights for F1 Esports. When you've won as many races, when you've taken as many podiums, surely he wants the title that goes with it. They are line astern into turn 1 once again as we continue to play the waiting game, the high-speed, high-skilled waiting game on lap 7 of 25. McLaren, Mercedes, and then Red Bull in a line, and then you've got the Alpine leading Marcel Kiefer, who had P4 within his grasp a while ago. Marcel Kiefer, a race winner, Nicholas Longuet, a race winner, but both of them have not been at the front nearly as much as they would want this year. And we're into the technical, quite slow part of the lap. This racetrack redesigned for the return of the Mexican Grand Prix, now officially labelled as the Mexico City Grand Prix. And then, finally, they can take things up to speed. But you've got to be careful of track limits through this part of the racetrack.
Just circling back to what you said about Freddie having his name in lights. I mean, his poor webcam gets smashed across his room when he finishes P2. Yeah, so of course he wants to win.
Yes, exactly.
He doesn't like showing it.
2nd place. Yeah, he plays it cool all the time, does Freddie Rasmussen, and doesn't give much away unless he's 2nd, in which case he gives quite a lot away into the side of his webcam. But he has been a fantastic competitor for such a long time, and they go over the line once again. We're in this holding pattern. Freddie Rasmussen chasing win number 10 in F1 Esports, but it's Jarno Opmeer who retakes the race lead. Easy pass into turn 1, pass that Barry Borremund wasn't exactly fighting.
Oh, we've got to move, potentially looking. Lucas Blakely knows he has to get a little bit further up this train if he wants to have a chance of finishing on the podium. I mean, just let's take our hats off for Josh Adowu right now, unless we're about to see a move. But Josh, I mean, he's just shown some unbelievable pace.
Stand back, stand by. How on earth has that worked? Lucas Blakely not prepared to wait any longer, given that he had contact before. That was a big risk, still taking a big risk. Elbows out, aggressive driving, place gained. Do not count Lucas Blakely out until it's over.
I winced there, Alex, I'm not going to lie. I was midpoint, I kind of sensed it. I sensed it was coming, and then, yeah, he just went for it. I thought he was going to crash into Marcel Kiefer, to be honest, but spotted his braking beautifully. And out of all that, Josh managed to get a penalty, so I wonder if that will stand or not. But right now, the McLaren driver has picked up a penalty, which will drop him out of the points again.
Oh, well, given the speed he's had as well, that is so unfair. But Lucas Blakely, the driver, getting through. And now, can he forge his way to the front of those running on the medium tyre? Because this lot are working perfectly together. Look at the advantage they've got, 4.6 seconds to the next car on a different strategy. So any pain they might take behind, is Lucas Blakely ducking out of the slipstream. Doesn't want to work with anyone, just wants to forge ahead and try and track them down. If this is the right tyre to be on, he wants to be at the front of the field. As it stands, you've got Rasmussen in 2nd place, you've got Barry Borremund moving up to 4th, but that's with the 2nd position, which is going to be under threat from Freddie Rasmussen. We are chasing Longuet and Kiefer on board with Lucas Blakely.
So there is Lucas. His championship challenge has just fallen away in 2 races. It must be quite saddening for Lucas, who has been right in the thick of things the entire season. But if you just have one poor result in this championship, it all falls away. But you know, take nothing away from Lucas's performances this year. He has been leaps and bounds one of the most improved drivers that we have seen, and he's continuing to try and get a couple more strong results to round out the season. Here's Barry Borremund, P2, just sitting, biding his time, trying to make those soft tyres go as long as they possibly can. And well, Jarno is 5.8 around, further ahead than Nicholas Longuet. Look at the gap behind. That is the kind of gap you're hoping for if you're the 3 soft tyres out in front. And these drivers just seem to be jostling around a little bit too much, holding each other up in these kind of sections. That's just losing them time into the front 3.
Yeah, 5.2 seconds is exactly what the front 3 would want, and it's looking cork in the bottle stuff at the moment, isn't it, in the battle for P4. So let's see whether the British driver, Lucas Blakely, chasing down Marcel Kiefer, is able to do anything at this stage. Problem is, if you can't make the move into 1, and everyone's got DRS, now look at the pain you've got to take through this part of the racetrack. Threading the needle looks spectacular for us with a fantastic change of direction. You can't put a pass there, and you've got to wait all the way until turn number 1. You'd be taking, if you were Lucas Blakely and you'd had damage to the front of the car that slipped you down the order in Imola, you're not taking any risks into the Forest. You can't do it.
Would you like a visual representation of how difficult it apparently is around this track to overtake? 4th, all the way down to 20th are in the same DRS train.
Well, that's just daft. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's what we love about F1 Esports. One lockup, one mistake, one error, and it's over. It's as simple as that. Time for the pit stops. Danny Moreno looks like he's coming in. So is Brendan Lee. They have pulled the trigger first. Jarno Opmeer, then Barry Burman, then Nicholas Longuet in 4th. But it's Freddie Rasmussen ahead of him. Nicholas Longuet is the driver in the Alpine livery, ahead of us on board at the moment. He's struggling. He's not having a good time of it. And that DRS change is absolutely wild. So lots to be gained for going to the undercut, but the tyres are degrading seriously here. So if you time this wrong, you're really going to pay for it later on.
Yeah, I mean, let's just take a look at Imola, the race we just had. Brendan Lee looked like he was potentially going to win the race, and just going that 1 lap too soon and maybe driving just that tiny bit too hard, and he just fell like a stone in the last couple of laps, and then I think he ended up finishing P5 with all the craziness that happened, but he was very much looking like he was going to finish on the podium without that penalty. So yeah, tyre strategy is so crucial. Jarno Opmeer seems to be pushing on very hard, 3/4 of a second ahead of Barry Burman, which is a lifetime considering what we've seen over the first 10 laps. So let's see, how much further will they go in this race? Oh, there you go. There's your answer for Barry, at least.
Yeah, you talk long enough, you get an answer. Fantastic stuff. Jarno Opmeer, Freddie Rasmussen, and Barry Burman decides to get the undercut first and deal with the repercussions later. He's not the only one. Plenty heading into the pits, including the man who was occupying 4th place. That's Nicholas Longuet. And once again, we're getting those getting rid of the soft tyres on the same lap as those getting rid of some of the mediums.
Just watching that timing screen to see where Danny Moreno and Brendan Lee come out when all of these drivers filter out of the pit lane. As you can see, Moreno and Lee just going up there, and now they're in the mix actually, Moreno and Lee. Well, Moreno's ahead of the lot of them at the moment, and Lee is. So look, the undercut again, 1 lap gets you right to the front of the field.
Yeah, it works, but especially here, we're expecting pain later on if you do that. So it works for track position, but you've got to be patient. The problem is that you can't afford to run to the time of those who find themselves ahead. So this fascinating situation we've got as Kiefer gets ahead of Longuet, and Longuet then gets back ahead of Kiefer. We're looking weirdly at the battle for 17th place because these two, they're not going to do anything daft. They're going to push it as long as possible. Jarno Opmeer, Freddie Rasmussen. Jarno Opmeer, a multiple race winner and champion. And is he coming in? He is. Freddie Rasmussen says, you do you. I am going to have another lap here. I'm going to take that sweet rubber later on. And he is going to take the pain of it. Who's called it right? Who's gone the right way? It's Freddie Rasmussen with the lead. He has decided to take 1 more lap from the softs. The others are going to get the advantage right now. Has he called that correctly?
Yeah, Freddie was always going to do something different to Jarno Opmeer. That's exactly what I was mentioning earlier. He has to go just a slightly different strategy and hope it pays off. Brendan Lee, fastest lap of the race. Where does Jarno Opmeer feed out in comparison to Barry Burman? Well, it's straight back in front of him. After all of that, that extra lap is going to help the Mercedes driver just have that tiny bit of advantage when we get to lap 25.
Barry Burman's heart would sink because if you go for the undercut, at the very least, you expect track position, but it's not what he's got. And Jarno Opmeer, every time he's being tested, is coming up with the answers. Track position at the moment over one of his rivals for victory, and Barry Burman still chasing that maiden Formula 1 Esports victory, unable to get ahead of him in lap versus out lap and advantage the reigning champion.
Now we're going to have to stare at the timing screens, not for Freddie Rasmussen, but to see how quickly Brendan Lee, the front of that soft tyre train, can start to close in on Burman, Otmir and Rasmussen as he pits now. So which strategy is going to pay off? We've just started lap 14 of 25.
Okay, they haven't fought at all on this lap, so they're on the medium rubber. They are pretty much line astern. Brendan Lee is leading the charge, as he always seems to at this stage of the race, at least today. That is your race leader, but he wasn't in that position before. Waiting. Oh, it's glacial. And there you see, going through as he gets up to speed, Otmir and Burman. He is in third position. Will he have called it the right way? Will that tyre advantage later on be able to turn what is a net third place into a net race win?
This is good for Freddie. He's still in the DRS of the McLaren ahead. That's what he would have wanted out of this extra couple of laps over Barry and 1 lap over Jarno. And Brendan Lee 2.8 seconds back. Freddie's just fallen out of DRS actually as he gets those tyres up to temperature. Nicholas Longe and Marcel Kiefer are fighting.
Oh, risky. You do not want that, especially when the damage can cost you dear. And Lucas Blakely is throwing one to the inside of David Tanitsa there, and he will be in no mood to be kind given what happened in Imola. And they're very, very tight. Oh, is he forced wide side by side? I think he kept 4 wheels on the racetrack. He did, and he got track position. Lucas Blakely refusing to give up and pass the Ferrari.
He was a little bit out of shape though. Will we see a move from the Ferrari afterwards? No. Lucas, great move there, as you say. It has no patience about him. He knows he has to make overtakes. And right now he is sat just behind Marcel Kiefer. But look at the amount of drivers ahead of him that have stopped already. He's going to be on the tail end of the points.
This is an opportunity now for Lucas Blakely to play himself back into form. He's going to have to overtake plenty of drivers in order to do that. Just Alvaro Caraton and Sam Weigang yet to visit the pit lane for their stop in this one. As we go back to this battle at the front of the field. So Barry Burman just wants that maiden win. He's not interested in the title battle between the two of them. He can be as aggressive as he likes, and there are no real repercussions for the McLaren driver, who has been fantastic this year, you have to say, with his ability in qualifying, but doesn't really want us to keep saying that. Wants to hear about the number of race wins, and Otmir will know that he's got a driver behind who doesn't have to think about the points battle at all. He will also know that he's in an excellent situation. The Blakely charge has faded away, and it's Freddie Rasmussen he's going up against, just as he did last year.
And he is not giving up just yet. There is Barry Burman. Just concentrating, staying easily within the DRS of Jarno Otmir, just biding his time. You can see on the steering wheel, he's around 70% ERS, so he's not full attack just yet. We've seen so many occasions where Freddie Rasmussen, for example, in Silverstone, just bided his time, last lap of the race, breezed past Danny Moreno with the use of DRS and his energy deployment. They can't hang around for too long, though. If Brendan Lee starts to close in, it's 2.4 seconds the gap now. And that Ferrari, well, it's got Danny Moreno for company right behind him. There he is into turn 1. But no moves just yet.
Remember, those who got track position did so by going aggressive. Really, really early on here, and that includes Brendan Lee. So Alvaro Caraton has yet to come to the pits. He will do so soon, and he will filter back into the order. And then it's Otmir, Burman and Rasmussen completing the podium, but are they on the right tyre? Because Brendan Lee is chiseling away all the while. Brendan Lee's got company as well. Look at this lot, all the way down to 16th before you get the DRS train broken at this stage. Otmir and Blakely separated by 4.8 seconds, and Blakely is hoping in the nicest possible sense that there's drama for Otmir that allows him to remain a contender, because it finishes like this once Alvaro Caraton has come in. The championship charge that has been so entertaining from Lucas Blakely, who's our opening winner of the year, is going to fade in the penultimate race of the championship.
So Jarno will take the race lead back once again. If he wins this race, he is going to, well, he's going to be looking very, very good in the championship. Barry Burman P2, Freddie Rasmussen P3. Brendan Lee not closing in as much as he wanted, and actually Danny Moreno has just got past him in the background. Up to P4 goes the Mercedes driver, and once again, the Mercedes looking very strong indeed. Marcel Kiefer down in P7. It looks very unlikely that Red Bull will be securing the team's championship this year. Let's hear from Danny Moreno.
Pace and energy are looking good.
Yeah, but they are going to start attacking, and I have to use.
So Danny Moreno being reassured, didn't like the sound of it though, doesn't think he can do anything. Remember when that gap between the top 3 and the 4th place driver was up at 5 seconds? Well, say goodbye to that, say hello to Danny Moreno. He's inching closer and closer, and it's lap 17 of 25, normal standards. That's towards the end, if it was a 25 lap race. This might be decided late on because they're coming rather quickly, and they are on the attack here. Nicolas Longuet started 4th, now 6th, cars everywhere, and if they're all sensible, they can get up to the back of the top 3 in the race. But can they be sensible?
That's another question we will answer very shortly, but yeah, imagine just being Jarno Opmeer. Okay, so P4's closing, and he's bringing 13 other cars with him.
Oh, everyone trying to duck out. It's just a train, carriage by carriage by carriage. All the hours put into this game, all the effort put into this game. Practice, practice, and practice again. And then you find yourself just glued to your competitors. The top 3 will be getting constantly updated. Remember, it was 1.8, it's now 2.1. And that is why Danny Moreno was slightly skeptical that things were going well. As it stands, that is the gap between Opmeer and Rasmussen as we go into the final race of the year. It will be 183 points, playing 162. It would not be decided today, but it would be one hand on the championship trophy for Jarno Opmeer, trying to do what we've seen in the past with Brendan Lee and become a 2-time champion.
Could be a big old swing though if it becomes Freddie Rasmussen P1 and Jarno Opmeer P3, which is could very easily happen.
And remember, Freddie Rasmussen is going to have the freshest medium tyres at the end of this race. He took the lap of pain earlier on, and he is right there in the wheel track. So if we see tyre deg like we've seen earlier this season, it might not be over yet.
It may not be over yet for Danny Moreno, now 1.5 seconds back, so it just keeps toing and froing, but every time we see that shot, the chasing pack get closer and closer.
Well, I'm just trying to work out how we're going to call a battle between 15 cars for the race win. Because it looks like we might be in look at this. This is not the opening lap of the race. This is the 19th lap of the race. And there are cars absolutely everywhere. I tell you what, Marcel Kiefer and Nicolas Longuet, they might as well weld the cars together from how far away they've been all the way through this one. Here's a good view of it. On board with Lucas Blakely. Kiefer, Longuet ahead. Brendan Lee's going to take a bit of pain on those tyres sooner rather than later. So expect them to be making their way past. But for the time being, they cannot.
Crucial, it's now a 17 DRS car train as Danny Moreno is now under a second behind Freddie Rasmussen.
Wow, he's taken a lot out on that lap.
He has, he may well have used quite a bit of energy and then may just go on to a bit of a recovery for the next few laps to rebuild that charge. But my goodness me, who knows what's going to happen.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Look at
Imagine
the DRS train.
Finishing the race, Alex. You're 5 seconds off the lead and you've ended up 17th.
When are you going to use the energy? That's the difference if you're in this DRS train. The answer for Lucas Blakely is right here, right now. We've got Barry Burman going to the lead of the race. They know they can't afford to work together anymore. Elbows out, game on. Barry Burman, then Jarno Opmeer, then Freddie Rasmussen. Marcel Kiefer going up against Lucas Blakely, who's had enough at the moment. He's seen his chances disappear, but he can't get ahead, and he's going to dive to the inside. 3-car battle for the lead, and if they keep battling like this, it'll be a 17-car battle for the lead. Are we going to get contact between these two? He's trying to go the long way round. He's off the road as he tries to do so. Can he turn the outside line to the inside line? This is only for 7th place, but it could be for more. Who gets the power down? Who gets ahead? Can it be Blakely? Yes, it's Blakely. Wow, did he wait a long time for that? And patience paid off. P7 for the Aston Martin man. Barry Burman is the race leader. Jarno Opmeer is just 0.3 of a second ahead of his championship rival Freddie Rasmussen. Will he choose to make the move? Now it's coming alive.
Blakely's going to have to push hard to get back within the DRS of Nicolas Longuet, because with all that battling, it did go over a second, but I think he's using a bit of energy to get back under 1 second. Now look how close Freddie Rasmussen is to the back of Jarno Opmeer as we start the 21st lap.
This is so important in the championship. The top 2 drivers in the points battle are getting close to the race lead. They're getting close to each other, and it's fine margins now. Are they about to go 3 wide for the lead of the race? And very nearly the championship pair involved in contact again. Through they go to make it the top 2. Surely he will. No, he's off the road. He's off the road, and he's got to be careful about going ahead, because that would be a penalty. Opmeer leads.
Unbelievable. Let's hear some team radio.
have to push them.
Put some pressure on Freddie.
I'm trying, man, but the tires are it's really hard.
Okay, understood.
Freddie Rasmussen then securing that position on Barry Burremand. And now he can set his sights on Jarno Opmeer, who is pushing so hard to gain just over a second. It's oh my goodness me, it's half a tenth away. But Freddie is just staying in there, and you can see the rear wing has opened. And the gap. Look at this. Crazy.
Look at this, Matt Gallagher. It is everyone together at the end. This isn't normal, it isn't typical, but it's what we love about F1 Esports. They are glued together at the end, with some drivers trying to keep their tyres in. You heard from Danny Moreno how difficult it is, with others going on the attack, and this is remarkable stuff now, because it is an absolute brawl to win the race. But Jarno Opmeer, despite all the chaotic scenes behind, and the DRS train that is trying to envelop him, still has the race lead, is still extending his advantage in the points battle as well. But Freddie Rasmussen has that one lap fresher set of Paredes, and he is ice cold.
Someone told these drivers it's grand final week, because they are just sending it at the moment. Longay and Blakely now fighting hard. Lucas just wants to gain as many positions as he can. He is not holding back. He knows the championship fight is over, but he's going to try and finish this season on a high.
For second position, Freddie Rasmussen, slow off the corner, advantage to Barry Burremand. Rasmussen knows he's got to consider things with the points battle as well. Jarno Opmeer going to work here, trying to break away. By the standards here, 6 tenths, now half a second, pretty decent. Cedric Tomei's got a 3-second time penalty. The time penalties belonging to Adoro, to Prushneda, and the latterly, the penalty of Cedric Tomei. Okay, final stages now. Who's going on the attack? Who's going to take their place on the podium? Danny Moreno's done a lot of work to get that gap down, but he doesn't appear to have the run for the time being. The DRS train is coming towards you. Opmeer, Rasmussen, Burremand, the top three.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? Some of those camera shots, you just go, it's the entire grid. Look at them. This is lap 23.
Brendan Lee went very, very aggressive earlier on. The fact that he's making this last, is he going to take real pain at the end here? And
yeah, we saw it literally on the last lap, didn't we? That's where he fell.
So is that how late things are going to go? You can see that Freddie Rasmussen is 0.2 of a second away here. So Rasmussen, is he going to get the advantage late on? Fastest lap of the race is going the way of Van Erven, who is further back, so that's why he's got it. Okay, 23 of 25. Tactical game being played at 200 miles per hour at the moment, with Opmeer, Rasmussen, Burremand, Moreno, Lee, Longay, Blakely, Kiefer, Tanitsa, Naduo, the point scorers, but he's got the pen, so that'll be Yoni Tormala. And as it stands, it is an 18-point lead going into the final race of the year for Jarno Opmeer, which by recent Formula One standards is an absolute chasm. So, can Jarno Opmeer and Freddie Rasmussen stay in that order? Can Rasmussen do anything? At the moment, this part of the racetrack especially, Opmeer is doing the business.
Yeah, we mentioned it in qualifying, how there maybe was some differing setups, some going for quicker down the straights and being able to overtake, others looking stronger in Sector 2 and Sector 3, which is more technical. Riding on board with Lucas Blakely. You can see 5% battery. He's got absolutely nothing left in terms of overtaking tools. He may well just charge up for this penultimate lap to go on the attack on the final one. But we are on the penultimate lap. It has flown by. Freddie Rasmussen has to get through on Jarno Opmeer.
Can he make it a competitive title battle rather than a theoretical one? Going into the final race at Interlagos, where last year Jarno Opmeer beat him to the crown. Surely, even though he is ice cold, even though he focuses, put a 3-second penalty for Blakely, which just finishes off his day. It finishes it off, and there goes the title chance for Lucas Blakely, who has been a brilliant contender, but it's not to be his year. Will it be Opmeer? Will it be Rasmussen? Because those are the two that we're going to be left with. But it seems at this moment, when it really counts, this is the closest that we've seen Rasmussen all the way. Can he stay close now? Can he go for it? Is it wide? Is it wide?
No, he let him through. He let him through.
Wide. So he went tactical. He went tactical at the end. Freddie Rasmussen has the race lead. Was it tactical? Was it the right way to go? He's trying to break the toe. The Red Bull leads, and he's on to the last lap. Did Jarno Opmeer go tactical? And did he get it right, or did he get it wrong? Because Rasmussen's got P1. but is it the right way to go? Otmir diving to the inside. Otmir plays it to perfection and regains the lead. Tactical masterclass at this stage. Otmir ahead of Rasmussen. Well, he stood on the brakes. He let his rival go. He got to the DRS point, but it's not over yet. Otmir versus Rasmussen for the championship, and Otmir has got it right. That's so close to contact, and Jarno Otmir, if he can keep it on the road, is going to have the championship lead of 18 points, having got his tactics absolutely right when it mattered most, and Rasmussen was caught by surprise there. He let him through, he retook him, he's on his way to put one hand on the championship trophy. He's going to take an 18-point advantage into the final race of the year.
We've got a few more corners left, yeah, Alex, but it is pretty much single file.
Oh, in the background it's very, very tight between Brendan Lee and Lucas Blakely.
There we go, then Jarno Otmir plays it perfectly. I did not think he'd do it there with half a second back, but he managed it.
Confidence and execution from a champion, separated across the line by less than half a second. Jarno Otmir brilliantly wins in Mexico City to take an 18-point advantage into the final race of the year. He's beaten Freddie Rasmussen and he's put one hand on the championship trophy. Tactical masterclass from Jarno Otmir.
It really was. Jarno Otmir, unbelievable drive. I can't believe it. I thought he'd messed up the DRS chicken, but he timed it to perfection. Tom, what a race.
Indeed, Matt. Alex, thank you so much. What a DRS train that was, Nick. But listen, just to confirm that, Jarno Otmir, your race winner in Mexico, and the DHL fastest lap, Matthias van Erven for Haas there. Haas waiting to pick up a point. Now, due to that, you would have seen that Freddie Rasmussen crossed the line in second. I'm being told he exceeded track limits, so therefore drops down, which means with that, the number crunching has gone on. Honestly, I'm almost out of ink here in this pen. Basically, the team championship has been won by Mercedes. How about that? Massive round of applause to them. They just needed to get it right. But where do we start, Nick? Not much time left of this show. We have to be off there by 9. Where would you like to chat?
Well, Jarno Otmir, what a driver. I mean, he's just got the full package. To be able to think of a strategy on the last lap, on the penultimate lap, going into the last lap, and get it right as well. Incredible stuff. But yeah, what an amazing achievement for Mercedes. And what a great race from Jarno himself.
Yeah, incredible stuff. We tell you what, I'm going to use that. He's got the perfect package. He's got a bit of everything as a driver. I'm going to head over now to chat to him. Jarno Otmir, Jarno Goatmir, as many people are calling you, greatest at the moment. Jarno, talk me through that race. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, it was a very exciting race. Was not sure if that move in the end was going to pay off. As coming out of the final corner, the gap was really big to Freddie, but the DRS was going to be massive, and I just really wanted it on the final lap. Freddie coming out of the first sector was very close behind me compared to previous laps, so I knew that if I was just going to stay ahead, I was not going to win the race. So yeah, I had to pull it off. I think the top 3 was slightly faster on race pace than everyone else, which made it a little bit easier because by the time the soft runners arrived, the softs drop off a little bit. And then, yeah, the last lap move was a bit tricky, but I'm glad it paid off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it as everyone else around the world is watching. It was just there in my monitor. I'm watching it again. Alex Jake said, did you just go tactical? Was it a tactical masterclass? Or was it, Jarno?
Yeah, I had to let Freddie go, and I think I did it just at the right moment, so he couldn't play games with me as well, so he had to stay ahead. But yeah, it was super important for the both team championship and the drivers championship because it's the 7-point swing, of course. So it ended up being 14 points, which is massive.
You're in a very strong position now going into the last race of the season, Sao Paulo. One hand on the trophy. What's going through your head right now, Jarno? Are you going to be able to sleep tonight before we come back tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I will. Feeling good around Brazil at the moment, so I'm happy about that. Freddie, in the past few seasons, wasn't as good around Brazil as on other tracks, so that gives a bit of confidence, but at the same time, we still need to finish it off. And we've seen in F1 Esports that it can switch around really fast if you don't manage to get into Q1 or Q2 or Q3. So, yeah,
Well, listen, I tell you what, congratulations. I haven't even had a chance to say to your face in a huge screen in front of me. Congratulations on the team championship. And I know how much you absolutely love having Danny Moreno as part of your team. Jarno, we will catch up with you a lot more tomorrow. Congratulations for P2 in Imola and well done on your win tonight as well in Mexico. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, thank you.
There you go. Here we go then. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to head over that way. Do you know what? I'm just going to go and sit back at the desk. That's what I'm going to do. We are back tomorrow for the final race of the 2021 season at Sao Paulo, Brazil. Things get underway with qualifying at 3:30 p.m. GMT, and then we are live at 7:30 p.m. GMT to look back on this evening's races and bring you the final race live and crown our 2021 champions. Thank you very much to everybody, to Nick, to our live audience. They can clap to Alex Jakes, Matt Gallagher. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
I'm ready for this. Let's get this grand final underway.
A good getaway for the McLaren man.
I just get brake checked, man.
Look at Jarno Opmeer.
Rashado is off the road. He's been clipped over the line. David Tanitsa. And we're underway. Jarno Opmeer turns third position into the race lead. Oh! There are no easy passes around this racetrack.
Into the final corner.
It's turning into a great day for Jarno Opmeer.